Oop, that didn't work. Time out. Hello, happy Friday, and welcome to another testimony time. Around here, I've got a special guest on the screen today that maybe you've recognized because he was actually one of my very first testimonies last year, I think, that came onto the page. I'm going to drop that link in the comments here in a little bit because, boy, that's going to be one that you're going to want to go watch. Definitely carve out some time. It was kind of long, but it was so worth it. And so when you're on your commute, when you're driving home, when you're doing your makeup or your hair, you're cooking dinner, whatever, put Shawn on and listen. But don't leave us yet because today we've got a good one where Shawn is going to talk about kind of where he's at now in life and inspire us in a new way. So, Shawn, who the heck are you?
I'm Shawn Worthington. I am in construction right now, working in Houston, centered around Texas area, and I am passionate about health, fitness, and just overall well-being, positivity, and health and fitness are the first two basically factors in to leading to being positive and healthy and happy. So that's who I am. I'm really all about that right now. And yeah.
Love it. I love it. He's in his truck, I think, currently. He's on the job site, so I'm stealing him for a hot minute. So we're gonna get right into this because he's got a job to do too. Which is kind of interesting because Shawn definitely is more on the road. He travels a lot for work, which can kind of be a obstacle in a way. You know, you're not on the same routine. You don't go to the same house every night. You know, like there's all kinds of things that could possibly get in our way in life that might make us stumble or get us off course. Or, I mean, can I just say that I've worked out for 5 days in a row, so I'm kind of an expert at this whole health thing too. So I'll help you out, Shawn, okay?
Thank
All right. So if you know Shawn, and he said this in his last interview, but I would say many of us can say this about ourselves too, that he has an addictive personality. And that can go one of two ways, right? And if you've seen his last testimony, it didn't go so well in his first part of life. But boy, did he learn from those trials and those years as well. And so, Shawn, I want us to start with discipline. We've all heard it before. January 1, I just thought this would be the perfect time to do it too, because we're in February now and everyone's like, man, I really tried that January 1st, like no sugar and starting that workout routine. And here we are, February, and maybe you've fallen off the bandwagon, right? And so you have had to be disciplined, one, to not go back to your old ways, two, to figure out your schedule and your life, constantly traveling and changing, and then just getting up and doing the dang thing every single day. So, like, what does discipline look like to you, and how do you keep going?
Well, discipline to me is definitely complicated, and it changes form depending on what it is, right? But discipline is broke down to the bare minimum. I think telling yourself you're going to do something and then backing that up and doing that exactly how you told yourself you were going to do it is following your written code every step of the way. Don't veer off the path. Discipline is consistency, and it's very closely wrapped in because you have to be consistently doing the different things to be disciplined. So I would say, that is discipline is staying on what you've told yourself you were going to be doing, not veering off. Sometimes you have to write down what you're going to do and scratch it off the list. So you put it out into the atmosphere and you say, this is what I'm going to do. Sometimes it's hard to set your own course with the discipline, but that is one of those things where you have to say, okay, I'm going to do this, follow up doing it. And what it does is it rewrites your code, your body, in your mental, in your spirit. It tells, okay, we said we were going to do this. We followed up. We did this. This is who I am now. And every time you do that, it gets easier to be disciplined. Just a fraction. Just every time you do it. And then you turn around after making those, staying on that, saying, okay, this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it. You turn around and you've done the things you thought you were going to do and you said you were going to do.
Boom.
And that is discipline to me.
Yes, I love that. And there's so many aspects of life I feel like you could bring that into. You know, for you at one point it was getting out of the addiction, or maybe it's quitting the thing. Like for me, it's sugar. Lord, I struggle. You know, I struggle not eating the sugar. And it's telling yourself every day you wake up and you're not going to eat that thing. You're not going to go back to that thing. You take that thing out of your life completely, or you add the thing back into your life that you really want to accomplish. And, you know, for me, I started a new workout program a little over a week ago, kind of switched what I was doing, and it could get you excited again, you know, and something to look forward to. But it's also like you have to get up when that alarm clock goes off and do the thing that you were going to you told yourself that you were going to do, because aren't we our own worst enemies? We've heard that all the time. We would never let somebody else down, but we let ourselves down all the time.
Absolutely.
And that's where the discipline comes in, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, so did you want to say something else?
I was just going to say, the more you don't follow up and the more you do let yourself down, the more it is accepted. And that's when you start falling off, you start quitting, and the string starts to be pulled from.
Yeah.
So
it's like your identity too. It's like, I am just the person that I don't work out. I'm the person that, you know, I don't do that. It becomes your identity when you just accept the fact that I can't be that girl. Like I was never an AM person, get up, workout in the morning, because I just didn't think I could do it, right? And then you just do the dang thing, and you get out of your mindset of like, I'm not that girl, to maybe I can actually do this and get it done in the morning. I don't have to think about it anymore, right?
Right.
I love it. Okay, so once we master the discipline, like I have to do the thing, and we're going to talk mostly health and wellness today, but I want you to kind of put it in your life, what it means to you. You know, is it quitting the addiction, or is it just going in a whole new route with business or your work, career, whatever? Like you can take these things and kind of apply it to your life. So Shawn had figured out the discipline. He knew like he was going to work out every day. He was going to really focus on his health and wellness and what he was putting in his body. And then that takes us somewhere. If we're consistent, like Shawn said, we're not going to see results in day one or week one. You know, it's going to take a while. But we start to see those results and we start to change who we are in a positive way. And where did that lead you to? It opened doors for you.
Correct. It opened doors for me. Staying disciplined. Discipline was the first step after finding God. I found God and realized that consistency and discipline were the only two things that would bring me out of the hole that I was in. It was consistently doing the right thing every time I said I was going to do it. That led from quitting the drinking, and the hard stuff, to quitting the food and the overeating, and quitting sodas, and led into staying consistently water, black coffee only. I started to transform my diet a lot around that time as well. Mm-hmm. And fitness journey. It led into the gym. So those small steps, they create stepping stones for large steps to be made. So before you know it, when you're more involved in your conscience as who you are, when you're accepting to do the thing you told yourself you're going to do, when you get to that point, you say, okay, I have done this. This is what I'm going to do. This is where I'm at. And that led me into the gym and into basically reshaping my entire diet plan. And that's where I started to learn a lot about fasting as well.
Okay. So take us there. So now they say food is medicine, right? Like what you're consuming, what you're putting in your body, gosh, it makes such a difference. And he's starting to feel the difference and see the difference. And so now it's like, what's the next step? So fasting, it's very biblical. Tell us something about that.
Yes, it is very biblical. It is so, and I think one of the reasons why it's so biblical is fasting is is extremely hard, and you're going against all of the here and now. It's similar to withholding yourself from something you want to do really bad that you've been waiting to do or that you think you have to do. So fasting is spiritual in the sense like of the clarity that you receive in the fast. So something we do not know enough about, and I still am learning about, is the food that we eat and how often we eat it.
Okay.
We don't allow ourselves the opportunity to clear our gut. So, you know, I would say on the spiritual, I'll start with this. So I'll stay on the spiritual side of things. On the spiritual side of things, it does say, it comes up in the Bible multiple times. We fast and we feast as humans. It's just the path that we've been taking over the years. But only if we were going to put it in perspective, we have fasted most and feasted most in the past until about, roughly a small percentage of time that humans have been alive, right? So recently we started to involve food more often in the days. We started to structure it differently. And in doing so, we have lost sight of the fasting completely.
Yeah.
But it is very spiritual, and partially due to the clarity that you get during that.
Yes. Yeah. And it, again, I just said food is medicine, but then you also go to like fasting. It's unreal what the human body can do when it doesn't have any food, and it's, just going to rejuvenate the cells, and you're literally just recharging yourself. Right. So, Shawn came to Christmas. It was actually New Year's Eve. But we were asking him, of course, we had food. Like, that's what you do. Hello, welcome to America. Like, you get together and you just feast, you just eat. And so we were like, do you want some food? Yeah, I haven't eaten in like 3 days. And we're like, what in the world? 3 days? Like, are you poor? Are you, what's the matter? And he's like, no, I fast all the time. I only eat like 2 times a day. And I was like, okay, tell me about that. So, like, practically, what does that look like for you?
So, that is a structure that I have found that works best with my body, and the training regimen that I'm on. For mine in particular, the idea is that I would basically fast. So I would fast basically through 2 or 3 days, 48 hours, 72-hour fast, and then consume food once a week, twice a week. There's also so I'll say that's kind of more of in-depth, real deep fasting.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to reach that level. You start with like a intermittent fasting, and you create, like, let's say, for example, tonight you'd eat at 7 p.m. and that would be your last meal before bed. Tomorrow you get up, you drink black coffee, you drink water, you don't eat until, let's say, 7 p.m. again.
Okay.
So that's a once a day. It's intermittent fasting. It's very simple. It's very doable for people to start out. It's hard. It takes commitment. And your stomach's going to tell you, hey, I'm hungry. Hey, feed us, eat something, And you're just going to have to say, no, that's not what we're going to do, and know that you're going to be okay. Before I get into this too deep, I do want to say that this does not relate. This information is not something you want to listen to if you have diabetes or you take insulin. So those two things, just if you are on that, you need to go about it a little bit differently, because completely pulling away from those resources could potentially be dangerous for you. But for the intermittent fasting, that's a once every 24 hours. That's very doable. Good way to start. Then you creep into a 48-hour fast, and you stick with water. You pray. You read. It takes certain things to get through that. You have to occupy your mind doing other things. While you're doing that, you go on long walks, burn calories. So the deal is with fasting, is what we're trying to do is after 12 hours of not eating, your body is going to eat up all the stored glycogen in the liver.
Okay.
After it eats up all the stored glycogen in the liver, it is going to turn to ketones. And ketones are basically what that means is it's going to turn to the stored fat, the fat that's visceral, that's in between your organs, the subcutaneous fat. It's just going to start picking apart at all the stored energy that it has put aside for this particular event, because that's what our bodies have been trained to do. Our DNA. That's why I say only recently we have eaten so much through the day, because our DNA is more geared around getting food every once in a while and having to fast the majority of the time. So, yeah. So I would say, I'm sorry, I totally lost.
No, you were talking about really getting to that point. So starting with the 12-hour fast, 72-hour fast is amazing. I don't know that I'm that girl, but I'm also a mom that's like has to make dinner every night, because these kids are needy. But I think your point really is like make it fit in your lifestyle with your goals, but know that like there's a reason for fasting. And I loved when you said prayer. Our church it was kind of a challenge in January to fast. And lots of us did it. Ryan and I did it kind of here and there. But the point is not just to for us as a church, it wasn't just to fast, but it was also for spiritual reasons, so take that time to actually be one-on-one, have quiet time with the Lord. Take that time to actually be in the Bible more, because life is so distracting and there's so many things going on, right? And just kind of, it's discipline. It goes back to discipline. That's exactly what it is, but for a specific reason and purpose.
Yep. Yeah. So basically your body's going to turn to the ketones and the stored energy, all this stored energy that we have. And it's going to say, okay, this is my preferred energy now. We're going to basically rock and roll with this. And you can live off of, right now, like I'm pretty lean. I have at least a month's worth of vitamins, of protein, of all these different resources and these important building blocks to providing a healthy body already stored in my body right now.
Yeah.
I can withhold from eating for more than a month and still survive and feel good. It is just hard to wrap your head around that when we've been trained to eat 3 times a day.
Yeah.
The most important meal of the day, breakfast, and it's just a meal is the most important meal of the day.
Right.
Or whatever regiment you're on. Now for a beginner faster, I would suggest the 24-hour intermittent. Mm-hmm. And then I would roll to a 5-2 directly after that. 24-hour for a week or two, see how you feel. Get used to not having food the majority of the day and eating once. When you break fast, it is very important that you don't break fast with fast food. McDonald's, anything fast is just go ahead and stop eating that and plan to no longer do that anymore. Fast food, restaurants, anything like that, no bueno. You're going to want to break your fast with fruit, vegetables, chicken, eggs. I would avoid red meat to break a fast right away, just because it is harder for your body to break down. So your gut, you're gonna give your gut a problem breaking that down. It's going to be harder for it to break down. So you give it something easy, and you don't eat much. You consume about 500 calories to 1,500 calories, depending on who you are and what you do. And it sounds really little, and it is really little. That's the hard part. That's the part you have to wrap your head around, is the acceptance of, oh my gosh, I have been overeating. It's hard to admit that you're overeating, especially if you might feel that you are slim or that you are not as big as some people. Right. Look at yourself and say, how do you think I'm overeating? It is only something you'll know once you creep into that. You open that door.
it made me think about, I watch mostly the twins, but Logan really doesn't eat a whole lot either. They're super lean, they've like no ounce of fat on them. And like they would go all day, not really eating until finally they're like, Mom, I'm hungry. Why haven't you fed me? You know what I mean? And it's like almost like you got to go back to your childhood and eat like you were a kid again. Like you don't think about food, really. They think about food when their body finally tells them like, dude, you need to eat, like you're hungry. Of course they want to go for the cereal and the junk, and that's when mom comes in and is like, nope, fruits, veggies, here we're eating this. But there's a reason for that. They're lean and they're active and they're healthy because primarily maybe just their lifestyle and what they eat. And then when we sit down to eat dinner, it's like, we're begging them to eat, like finish your plate. But then they're like, I'm full, and it's almost what you're saying, like eat like a 7-year-old.
It ultimately, that's a great way to put it. They only know what their body tells them. And that's what I wanted to say is you have to listen to your body.
Yeah.
If you're bloated, if you're constantly sore, tired, your body's telling you to stop. Your body's telling you something is wrong. You shouldn't be tired. You shouldn't be sore. You shouldn't be drinking energy drinks. You drink an energy drink because your body's so inflamed with all the seed oils and all the food that you've eaten and everything is slow and it's wonky. And now you've got to implement sugar and more caffeine. When in reality, the way to break into your primal source of energy is to fast, is to withhold yourself from the inflammation, from those things that create the problem that then energy drinks are there to solve.
Yeah.
Very short term, so it's a high. That's the same thing as going after the drug. You're looking for that feeling, and it's the wrong area you're looking for it in. That's one of the hardest things to wrap your head around is to listen to your body. It's hard to figure out what your body's saying until you just give it a shot. You have to give it a shot.
I was just thinking, it's with anything, you don't think you can do it until you do it. And then you're like, well, that wasn't so hard. Or I actually like the way that felt. And then you'd almost crave it again.
And so it's just all around. It's good. And I do want to nail this in too. Intermittent fasting has been proven to lower the rate of Alzheimer's and dementia in every patient that they have tested this on. Your neural cells are notably and measurably more active when you're fasting. When people say they feel a sense of clarity, like I was saying earlier, and why that is important and why I think it relates so much to the Bible and your spiritual side is because when your brain is saying, so when you're not feeding yourself constantly, your brain is saying, okay, we're going to use these other sources that we've got and everything. And also we need to open up more pathways. We need to have more things going on. We need to figure out how we're going to get fed next. Everything starts coming online. It says, it's like going into an application in your computer that hasn't been used in a while or something, maybe needing to update it or whatever, right? It's very similar to the point where your brain says, okay, let's get rolling, let's get churning. We got to clear some things out here so that we may use this. We may occupy this space, sending oxygen, blood, pumping through your brain and through these vessels, through these muscles, through these areas that haven't received anything. It is 100% proven. That is what happens. And in doing so, your cells, it's pulling out all this dead cells and all the cell waste. And that is some of the things that creates those Alzheimer's and dementia. It's so much cellular waste and dead, just inflammation and things that haven't been cleared out of your brain properly, right? Like we work out a lot. Like I work out a lot, and I can feel certain things like way better. I used to have injuries and different problems and feel a certain way with my hands and whatever when I was 240 pounds. But when I was, and now that I am here and I'm fasting, some of those things that I thought were going to be a lifelong problem, they're completely gone. My body just needed a chance to send the proper resources to the area to target that.
Yes.
So so back to the brain. This is, I mean, 100% great for your brain. Long term, short term, intermittent fasting is just great. I do want to say back to the 5-2 diet too. Away from the brain, the 5-2 diet is 5 days a week. You're going to consume a regular 1,000 to 2,000 calorie diet, depending on who you are. Really want to focus more on burning more calories than you consume. That is the big goal. 5 days, 1,000 to 2,000 calories. Try to burn more calories than you consume. 2 days a week, you will do no more. You will eat no more than 500 calories 2 days per week. And 500 calories is very low. The ultimate goal is to have 0 calories. But some people, like myself, I enjoy black coffee. It helps me. Caffeine helps me curb the hunger.
Yeah.
And as long as you're not drinking dangerous amounts of caffeine, I think it is acceptable. Caffeine has proven to have some cognitive benefits over time, but also it creates hypertension and everything. And so there's a balance.
Okay.
But the reason I say 500 calories is to allow a little bit of room, a wiggle room for people. Like if you're like, okay, it's going to be a full 24 hours without anything. I just need like a granola bar or something. I need oats, or I need a yogurt. And you're going to go and do the yogurt. You don't want to fail in a way where it pulls you completely away from what you're doing. You don't want to veer off course just because you were hungry and you failed and you thought you couldn't do it. Allow yourself that.
Yeah.
But get under 500. The goal is 0. So 2 days per week, you're doing absolutely no intake. No, you're not ingesting any food, just water. You've got your vitamins, you've got your protein, you're good to go. Do life as normal. 5 days, like I said, keep it 1,000 to 2,000. That is one of the best diets I could recommend to anyone. It's achievable. It's you can do it. You have to lock in, and
where that discipline comes back, right?
That's where that discipline comes in, and you start with day one. You can't be thinking about the weekend on Monday. Trying not to eat something on the weekend. You're already thinking about something you want to do on the weekend, a cake shop you want to go to, or a place you haven't tried, a restaurant, and you're like, how am I going to make this stop? Don't think about that. Think about today. Get through today.
Okay.
Moment by moment. Find ways to curb your hunger. Find things. Yeah.
That's such good advice. And as you were talking, I was sitting here thinking about, I've said this many times before, but we've all heard the saying, you only live once, YOLO. But I feel like you can take that in 2 different ways. And it's almost the way you say it. You only live once, meaning like live on the edge, eat what you want, do the thing because you only live once. Or you can say you only live once, which means like, this is the life, this is the body, these are the years that you get. Never have I seen anybody get a new body. Never have I seen anyone get ready, just be able to start over, right? Like we don't know that we come back as a new person or you get to do this thing over again. And so when that mindset shifts to this is it, and spoiler alert, but no one wins this game of life, right? Like game over will come for everybody at one point. And so when you switch the mindset to you only live once on this earth, and so I want to look and feel and think and do everything in my power to support my body so that I can actually feel good, it changes everything in a good way.
Yes. That's I love that. You only live once. And that's exactly the change you're explaining that I went through is from YOLO, you only live once, to doing whatever you want, to, oh my gosh, you only have one opportunity to be here.
Yeah.
Potentially, and in this form, whether that be, but, I think that's a very appropriate way to look at it. And the change has to start with you, and looking at yourself in the mirror and really identifying what you want. I will say on a just baseline, if you're not trying to lose any weight, that's okay. If you're just interested in fasting because of the spiritual side of things, that's awesome. That is really great. It's going to lead you into other areas that are really great. I think fasting all around is a good thing. Like I said, obviously, if you're not on insulin or if you don't have diabetes, those are two things where if you want to do some kind of intermittent fasting, you might consult your doctor and talk about some things that you can do to go about eating less but achieving that same resource that you need. Um, so
Yes.
so into a 72 hour fast, I want to say with the way you work into a long-term fast is you start with the intermittent, you start with the 5-2, and then you say, I'm capable. When you're to a point where you say, I'm capable of not doing this, now I know I'm not scared for my survival kind of thing. I know that I'm actually able to do this. Now it's will. And you have to be disciplined. You have to say, okay, if this is what you truly want, that is how you achieve the extreme weight loss in a short amount of time.
Okay.
You're going to make your last meal healthy. You have to make it very full of nutrients. You want eggs, you want chicken, you want spinach, you want everything easy for your body to digest, but that is full of protein and enriched in resources.
Okay.
Your last meal, you make it. I always use the night to help me create more time. So my last meal, I try to use around 4 or 5 the day before. That's just because I can make it through the night. Once I get to sleep, there's another section of time that my body's running off. At that point, probably ketones at 10 to 12 hour point, but for sure in the morning. So when you wake up in the morning, a lot of times when you go to bed, you go to bed hungry, but you wake up and you're not hungry. You're just ready to go. Your body's adjusted. It's when we sleep, there's a lot of clear cleansing that happens with our brain. We send certain chemicals through things, so we wake up less hungry. Through the day, you keep hydrated. You keep if you drink the black coffee, you drink the black coffee, and then you're going to want to stretch. You're going to want to walk. You're going to want to do something. Keep your mind off it. Don't sit still. The more you sit still, the more you're going to just justify going and making that decision. And I think that's something that goes towards with movement and allowing your brain to process better. Sometimes when I'm walking, I have a way better conversation with somebody than I do sitting down. Sometimes I can create a little bit better, but that's the same. I think that's the same way there. So you're going to push, you're going to go into the night. What you need to know is the night's going to be the hardest. Is you're hungry. Your body's going to say, we're not typically like this when we go to bed. We always are full. We always just go to sleep. You're going to have a lot of things, of activity going on in your brain. You might not sleep very well at all. And that's just kind of part of that game. You're going to feel good. Once you do go to sleep, you will sleep very well. It's just allowing yourself to get over that. Your stomach gargling is going to be gargling, doing different things. What it's doing is it's just changing its form of breakdown because it's using different materials now.
Okay.
It's just different. It feels hungry, but you listen to your body. If you start to have an extreme headache, like you might have a little headache, a little thing that's kind of normal. If it's throbbing to the point where light and sound are affecting you, that is too much. There might be something deeper going on. But if you got a little headache, that's totally normal. Think about the cleansing process that has to take place in your brain. Think about all the things I just said pushing through your brain, activating. It is just different. So there's a lot going on. That's essentially why we experience some of the minor feelings associated with that.
And the whole time you're talking about this, all I'm thinking is in 2026, all of us, and maybe just humans in general, we want comfort. We thrive on comfort because that's what makes us feel good. And maybe we fear the unknown. But it all think about anything that you haven't ever wanted to do, or we say comfort food, right? There's just so many things. We go to the chocolates because it's comforting. And I think that in itself is like the chain that you have to break almost, because it's not going to be comfortable. Everything that Shawn just said sounds very uncomfortable. It sounds like, why in the actual heck would anybody do that, right? But it's the aftermath, it's the effects of the discomfort, you know, like, and that can go with anything in life. That's what I was telling you guys. Like, if it's not health and wellness right now for you, take these ideas and apply it to some other part of your life. Like me starting a business was not comfortable, not at all. You know, like I had to get into the unknown and in the fear of a lot of things to break away fast from what I knew and what was comfortable for me. And it was an income, to breaking away and being uncomfortable to try something new, realizing that there's likely success in that jump and that leap, but there's going to be a time period of growth and of change and of discomfort for sure.
Yes, and you said it best, Donna. The growth happens in uncomfortability.
Mm-hmm.
You're forced to make the changes that you're always too comfortable to make.
Yeah,
And
yeah. And when do people make those changes? It's when they have the diagnosis. It's when they have a wake up call because someone else in the family was just diagnosed with this, and it makes you realize, like, I'm probably not eating and living the lifestyle that I should be. You know, like we as humans, when we feel okay, we just, you know, go about our ways. But there always is like a wake up call or something that's like, crap, that I'm not really living or going down the path that I probably should be.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah. Okay. So Shawn's figured this out, right? I mean, we're realizing now that he is in the best health and fitness of his life. He figured out discipline. He figured out what works for his body and what his goals are. And now he has taken it to do some freaking amazing things. So he's like, all of a sudden, I think maybe I'll run. Like, maybe I'll just get out there and go like in the woods and just run a little bit. And I watched a video of him the other day. He must have had, do you have like a GoPro or something?
Yes, yeah, meta glasses.
Okay. So it's like you're him running, right? Except for if you watched it, you would think he was at least on a bike or potentially a dirt bike, because like he runs. Like Logan, my oldest, he finally I didn't know that he was fast. Not at all. Because he does nothing fast. It takes him 70 hours to do the dishes. He does nothing fast. But all of a sudden, like, he's running cross country and he's freaking good at it. And you just don't know your talents until you try it, right? But Shawn just decides, like, I feel the best. I need to fill my schedule with something else, right? Because if I'm fasting and I'm not eating, I don't have to cook. Like, what else do I do? And so Shawn, marathons, running, like, gosh, where's that taking you? Just kind of, this is how we'll kind of wrap up. I know you need to get back to work, but running marathons, like, why'd you get into that? What's your accomplishments? I know you can tell us all the medals you have. Just tell us.
Well, it's actually, this is my 2-year mark in running, is this March. And the first competition I ever did was 2 years ago for my company. It was, you know, yeah, I think it was 2 years ago, yeah. It was it was the Texas Independence Day 5K. I ran with my company, the first race I ever ran. Now, I had started doing a little bit of like running and different things about a month before. So February this time 2 years ago, I was just beginning to start running. I had been in the workout journey for a while. I was walking for sure. I was hiking, doing different things. And I said, you know what? I can run and I feel good doing it. I started running. Over the course of the month, I realized that I could run a little faster than I anticipated. I started running more and more, signed up for the race, ran it, and I got 12th out of 500 on this 5K. And
on 5K. Does that sound like so short to you now?
No, it is shorter than some distances, but it's long for, you know,
it still sounds long to me, but
yeah, 3.2, I think it's about 3.2 miles is a 5K. And that was the first race I ever did, and it inspired me. I didn't realize I would do so well, and it it ignited a spark in me. From there, I just started running with it. Literally, I joined a trailhead. They call it Trailhead Running Supply. It's right there around where my mom and dad live in Flower Mound, Texas. If you're ever down around the area in Lakeside, you need to check out Trailhead Running Supply. They are amazing. I started running with them. They do dirt church, is what they call it, on Sundays in the morning. They do Horseshoe Hustle on Tuesdays, and they do Rocky Road on Thursdays. I started going. I had the opportunity. I was in town for work, so I had the opportunity to show up every time. I started running with them, listening to the tips and tricks, realizing that I like to do longer distances than the 3 miles. Like I like doing 10s. I like pushing myself to 13, and I realized, I can do a marathon. I signed up for a marathon last summer in July. It was the first marathon I ever ran, and I ran. I got second place in it. And it was my first one. It was in Stevensville, and it was just a local deal. So there wasn't any, real serious competition out there. It was just, I just wanted to go and feel comfortable doing it somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, that also reinstated the spark in my body for the running. From there, since then, I had ran a race once every 2 weeks, at least, typically once a weekend since then. Whether it's a 5K or a marathon, I was just getting in there. Training for that looks like running. It's time on your feet. So you want to lift your body. You want to run a great deal through the week. You want to run longer than 26 miles. You want to run shorter. You want to run fast. You want to run slow. All the above. It's training is what training is to you, until it becomes where you need to push past where you think you're capable. And then you involve other people. So do your thing. If you want to start running, you start slow. Start with a mile. You're going to run it in 12 minutes or more. It's just accept it. It is okay. But you'll be better the next time, and your body will thank you for it eventually. Anyway, so yeah, I just been rocking and rolling since then. I did a lot of races last year. To
Rocks competition. It is a CrossFit competition they have, and HYROX, and I've signed up for that. I'm doing a doubles here in Houston, March 26th on Thursday. It'll be my first big event that I signed up for as far as CrossFit competition. So that's the marathons led me into that because it has an extreme amount of running and it's the conditioning and it's just the sheer challenge. That's the most disciplined form, in my opinion, of working out, of life, is being out of breath, being physically, mentally, and spiritually exhausted in the moment, and then choosing to continue to keep going at a level that you can compete with other people that do that, And so that's what I'm going to be doing. That's where it's kind of gearing me towards that. So that's March 26th. I'm doing a triathlon. It's a mini tri, not the full triathlon. It's an introduction to triathlon. May 3rd in Corpus Christi. I'm training for that. I've got to get into the water, into the ocean, and start swimming in the ocean so I can work on that. Swimming is a challenge. Swimming for me feels like running plus hiking up a hill. The first day I ever did it. I mean, every time I swim, it's horrible. It's hard. And so that's my next challenge, and I got to stay disciplined in it to achieve that. What I'm going to get. But yeah, so the ultimate goal, though, I do want to say this. My ultimate goal is I want to run a 100-mile ultra next year. I want to run the Tahoe 200. It's 200 miles around the Lake Tahoe in California. I want to be invited to that. I want to do that. That's a goal of mine before in the next 5 years. And then I want to run the Cocodona 250. And this is a race. It's a 250-mile run. And what it is from Phoenix, Arizona, and you run to Flagstaff, Arizona. So there's elevation. and miles that you're having to battle the entire time. But that is where this journey has taken me. Like, we'll wrap it in with the addictive personality and everything. It's, you know, I want to say to people, you're not going to just quit something negative in your life without replacing it with something else successful. And when you find that right thing, everything will be geared towards it. Life will push you in that direction. You will have to fight against it for it to not happen. Just realize that. If you feel something you should be doing, if the signs are there, do it. Stay in it. It'll bring you where you don't know you need to be, but where God's plan has initially had for you.
Amber has a question for you. So Amber Sexton is a mama. She really took on running a while back. Amber, I don't even know. You can tell me. But she is training for, is it a marathon, Amber? She's training for a race for epilepsy. So her daughter has epilepsy, and she's kind of took on this challenge, and it's also to raise money and awareness. But her question is, do you still fast when you're training for the marathon, or what does that look like?
Absolutely. Yeah. My training is strictly, I listen to my body every step of the way when I'm doing the training. If I set up, if it's the time of the week and that time of the month where I say I am doing the fast and it coincides with the with training for a marathon for that weekend, I'm going to say, okay, this is the type of eating I'm going to do. I'm going to do a probably 1,500 calorie diet for 4 days of the week and fast for 3, eating once a day. And that way because I'm burning so much calories, training for the marathon. I don't stop resistance training when I'm training for the running. So I'll still be doing, my regiment, my breakdowns of resistance training in the gym every day as well. So I'm training for that, and I fast. You can absolutely do it. You have the resources in your body. I promise you have them. And you're just going to be leaner. You're going to be toner. Making that decision, it's going to be harder. You're going to feel a little weak in certain moments, but it's kind of all in that plan. But yeah, I absolutely do that. And like I said, if I'm training very hard and I've got a big race coming up that weekend and I want to resistance train through the week, I will absolutely eat 4 days of the week, 1,500 calorie diet, and 3 days I'll fast, potentially no food at all, but more like 500 calories a day.
Okay. She said Chicago Marathon. That's what she's training for.
Well, good luck, and I hope you have a great. I would love to run that. I just it has to line up for it.
Right.
That should be awesome.
Yeah, I know she's really been working towards it. She said, I've done a marathon, I've never done a marathon. She's ran 3.5, but have ran 3.5 marathons. I really just got back into running in October. So, Amber, if you have like specific questions or anything, Shawn obviously has experience, and I can get you in contact with him if you have any further questions for him.
Absolutely.
I don't even know when. She didn't say. When is the Chicago Marathon typically?
It's coming up, I think, spring.
Okay.
Spring?
Yeah, I know she's been training for a while. That's crazy. Okay. Oh, 3 half marathons. Okay. I didn't see the dash. She's ran 3 half marathons.
Nice.
Okay. What is a marathon versus a half? What's the distance?
A marathon is 26.2 miles, and a half marathon is 13.1.
13.1. Oh my gosh. That gives me heebie-jeebies thinking about it. That's like running to Columbia. That's like running to go get my groceries. That's crazy.
That's exactly. Yeah. I was actually thinking about doing that the day that I fell on New Year's Day. I was like, man, I could run to Columbia this morning, and it's probably a good idea I didn't, because then I would have been a lot further from the house when I made the mistake. For those who don't know, New Year's Day, I was back in Hallsville with the family, like she had mentioned, and I went on a little run in the morning. I thought, why not? Felt great, and I ended up trying to hurdle a guardrail at the football field, and didn't hurdle it quite like I thought I would. So yeah, that
All over
was
the side of his head. I text
first
him
day.
like, "Sir, why is your head cracked open? Are you okay?"
Also I will mention too, I got a stress fracture in my leg from that as well. From that little crash out. So I have been training with that. It's been a nightmare. I actually haven't been able to run in the past week. Last night I did a mile, a 9-minute mile, which is so far away from where I was. I was almost in, I was low sixes breaking into the 550s before I got hurt per mile on, not a singular mile. Singular mile could probably run low fives. Just multiples at a time, yeah. So, so I'm kind of dealing with that, but we're working through it and we're almost there. I think I am going to do this high rocks regardless if it's broken or not, because that's just who I am. And, and that's how you have to be. And one of the last things I want to say to everybody is that, whether or not you think you need to make a change in your life, or whether you're looking at this for somebody else, you should look at yourself in the mirror, and you should think about it in a different way. And you should think about it like this. Should you be the change for your family to make everybody healthier? Can you be a spark in somebody's life by making this decision for yourself? You will also benefit people around you. Maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe God says you're doing this for someone else, and they have to see it done with someone close for them to be able to take advantage of the opportunity as well. So maybe it's not for you, and maybe you don't think you personally need to do anything, run fast, whatever it is that you're going to do, but just be the change for people. Be the spark. Be the igniter. Just say, okay, why not? Why not try this? Give it a shot. What else? It's life sometimes gets boring when we go to work and we come home and we do the thing, and you never know what can change and what can be solved by allowing your body the opportunity to clear out some of the bad waste and just open up. And you never know who you're going to help in the process.
Yes. Amen. Listen, Ryan really likes Ghost energy drinks. And I told him at one point, like, you probably should stop drinking those, and I had pretty much quit most energy drinks. And so for Valentine's Day, I was like, I'll be nice. And I bring him a Ghost energy drink home, right? Because that's sweet. And I put it in the fridge and I told him, like, that's waiting for you. And he's like, I don't do that anymore. And I was like, well, excuse me. So as if like he was just the poster child for health, And I'm like, well, happy Valentine's Day. I'll find something else. But that's you're awesome. Right. He I was like, I really need to quit these energy drinks, because when I don't have one, like, I get headaches and I feel like I'm anxious when I do drink one. Like, I just need to stop. And I think that kind of sparked it in him too. It's very much do it together, with your spouse or family. That was really good advice, Shawn. I appreciate you coming and sharing the little tidbits. I said I was going to, and I haven't. If you would like to hear part of Shawn's testimony, the beforehand, the before Shawn, you have to check out the testimony that we did last year, because you will realize where he's at now and what obstacles he's talked about and how far he's come. Boy, is it amazing. Shawn, hang tight with me for just a second. Thank you guys for joining us. Share this out if you know of anyone that might be inspired with health and wellness and fasting and discipline and all the things. God bless you. Have a great week.